Hello, everybody, and welcome back to week 33 of tracking the local shifting real estate market in Burlington, Camden, Gloucester counties, 900,000 and below. And today, I am in a little bit of a different location. So I am down here in Austin, Texas for our annual mega camp, which is Keller Williams, one of our annual conferences. So we are down here, multiple days of the conference hall of learning, tons of breakouts, just trying to stay up to date with as much of the economics as we do here, state of the market, and just some of the most trending tips and tricks for realtors and how we can improve the lives of our customers and our clients. So next week, we're not quite done here yet. So next week, I'm going to be trying to compile as many of those notes as I can. And in addition to doing our weekly update here, I'm also going to give you some of the new topics, things that are coming out that maybe haven't been in the mainstream over the past few months, just some more food for thought, just some new concepts. But without much further ado, we'll make this one a little bit quick. So, I am very happy to see we are continuing to steadily increase our total active listings. This has just been this nice, slow, really consistent uptick in available listings. We have a perfect golden ratio here of new listings at 352, our under contracts at 325, and our closed at 305. I mean, couldn't ask for a better ratio this week in terms of what came on the market and what's coming off the market. We are in replenishment mode, and we can see that in our total active listings for the last 7 weeks. And I think even a little bit before that, it's just a nice steady increase. This is giving confidence back to buyers and sellers. It's not as crazy as it used to be. It doesn't have to be so hectic. Yes, our interest rates at a point that over the past decade are a little bit higher. Yeah, but really at the moment, and this was one of the stats that we saw this morning, was that we're still only at about 29% of the average income is what you're spending on housing. You go back to the 80s, it was 49%. Now, during the past decade, it was a little bit lower. It was at maybe 18%. I think they bottomed out about 16%, 22%, but still 29% is a really good amount of your annual income that you would end up spending on housing. So that part I really like. And we'd like to see that our prices have actually kind of stayed steady. We've been hovering around this range, with a 1% difference, again, for the past 8 weeks, 7 to 8 weeks. So here's the takeaway. Again, volatile markets create uncertainty. Volatile markets are when I don't know what to predict next. Consistent markets give us closure. They give us confidence. They let us know that, hey, I can see the trend line. It's going in the way that we want. Now, when we talk about this prices thing, and this is what came up a little bit from this morning from the conference, and as Gary Keller Williams, company I work for, our guy that started this company 40 years ago, largest real estate franchise in the world, basically said, as we sit here and look at prices, while we may have looked back 10 years ago and said, oh my God, what a high price to pay for a home. Today we're saying, wow, what a high price to pay for a home. Well, it's much higher than where that was. What are we going to be saying in 10 years? The average time that somebody has owned their home has increased from 7 years to 10 years. We've known that in probably the past 2 decades. That's been an increase in the length of time that somebody has spent in a home, right? So that part we really know. But what we want to remember today is today a good time to buy real estate, or is today a bad time to buy real estate? It's never a bad time to buy the right real estate, right? When we say buy the right real estate, what do we mean? Don't overpay for the market that you're in. Protect yourself with your home inspection contingencies so you're not going to get raked over the coals for latent repairs that maybe you went as is and you're not allowed to fix during the under contract, and you take on a burden that's more than you wanted to. It's never a bad time to buy the right real estate. So that's what I want to kind of leave you with a little bit today is it doesn't really matter too much of where the median list price is today. It doesn't really matter where the interest rate is today. If you're planning to own your home for, let's say, 3 years, 5 years at a minimum, which is, that you could blink and you could be in your house for 3 to 5 years. These two equations really don't matter much to us. They really don't matter in your wealth building. The last thing that we like to say, and this isn't we like to say, this is a statistical fact, is that the average homeowner has somewhere around 25 to 30 times the net worth of the average renter. Now, obviously, that makes a lot of sense. A lot of people who own homes have owned them for a while. They're in an older bracket. They've had a lot more income and things like that. And most of the time, renters are, college, out of college, and things like that. So that's not all that uncommon. But there are a lot of the reverse. I see a lot of people who have just bought their first home at 50, and I see a lot of people who buy their first home at 21. So there's enough of a spread there. So I love to see these numbers in our local market. We're starting to see a smoothing out of a lot of these trend lines. Look, the last 2 years were an aberration for what we've had in the last 10 years, 30 years, 40 years of real estate tracking, right? The last 2 years, we had a pandemic. We had a global pandemic. So, of course, everything got wonky. But if you really track that 4% goal inflation rate that the government really wants to have, and that's what's good economic growth. We went a little bit above it, but as the trend line's coming in and having this softening year here, 2022 coming into this year, which is a little bit down comparatively, we're actually starting to match. We're actually starting to return to normal. We are not that far off from a pricing standpoint of where we need to be on the historical 4% trend line. So that's what I'll leave you with today. If you ever have any questions, you know where to find me. And I'll be also pairing this video, if you are watching this in the email blast that we send out. We're also, last week, I did an interview with another local real estate agent. In the next coming weeks and months, probably going into this kind of Q3 of this year, I'm going to try and bring on a few other real estate agents and maybe even a mortgage professional or two, just to give their perspective. I think you've had, half of a year of me giving you my perspective, watching the local real estate market. But now I think it's time that we start bringing in some other folks to help round out this discussion and just continue to give you as much information from as many data points and people who are working this local real estate market as possible. So anyway, I'm going to go and continue enjoying this conference here in Austin, Texas. Tonight, we get to go see Tim Tebow speak as a motivational speaker and explain his journey and things like that. So looking forward to it, but I can't wait to bring all of this knowledge back to every single one of you, and we can talk more real estate and just be more confident about our purchases and our sales. So anyway, bye everybody. Talk to you soon.